What's going on YouTube? My name is Bowden the Great and I'm going to give you 10 of my favorite mods to play with Supermarket Simulator. And don't worry, while there are plenty of game-breaking mods out there like cheat mods that will make you rich, none of these that we will be covering are anything like that. Because personally, I hate those kind of mods because it doesn't add anything to the game, it only takes away from the fun. So these 10 mods that I'll be covering, in my opinion, either make the game more realistic or that add on to the experience itself. And before we get into the mods, please do not forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this kind of content. Now it should be noted as well that to download most of these mods, it's required to have downloaded Toby's Beppin X Melon Loader Pack, which I will link below with all the other mods. Now kicking things off at number 10, if we're going to be running a supermarket, we've got to at least make it look like a supermarket. And while there is a decent amount of customization options, there really isn't anything in the game yet that lets you make the ceiling look a little bit more supermarket, which is why I recommend downloading the Better Lights Ceiling mod, which turns the boring old ceiling into ceiling tiles with lights. It honestly really freshens the entire store and makes things look a lot better, even if you're more of a fan of vanilla gameplay. It doesn't change anything in the game except for the aesthetics, so if you're only into vanilla gameplay, then you may want to consider this one. While there are light tiles, they unfortunately do not actually act as lights, so what I like to do is actually put these ceiling lights you can buy on these tiles, so it gives you that light appearance. The next mod I recommend downloading is sort of a two-parter, but I'll only count it as one. Coming in at number 9, the Texture Replacer mod. Now this mod itself doesn't actually do anything on its own, but it allows you to download whatever texture replacement mod you want, which replaces some or all of the food products. For example, if you're American like myself, I highly recommend downloading the USA name brands textures, which as the name implies replaces all these stored goods with American name brand items, which makes things a lot easier to remember. With the American name products, you'll likely be able to recognize items from the shelves quicker and better than the originally oddly named goods. There are lots of other options as well that also can change the texture of shelves and even the walls and floors if the store customizer doesn't give you enough options. Luckily though, with the last major update, there's a lot more options for customizing now. Now at this point, you're probably tired of purely aesthetic mods, which I had ranked higher up because while they are nice to have, they don't really affect much in terms of gameplay. That all changes now. Coming in at number 8 is the RDC Stock Manager mod. This mod is extremely helpful in determining how much stock you have left on not only your shelves, but also in your storage. Now how the mod works is that it determines how much inventory you have left on your shelves and looks at it as a percentage. Now I don't know what the exact numbers are, but just more so that when the numbers in the parentheses is white, that means you have plenty of stock. When it's yellow or orange, it's starting to get low, and when it's red, you need to order more pronto because the well is dry. If it's not clear, the first parentheses relates to your store shelves, and the second parentheses relates to the storage racks. Now, I'll say the vanilla game really doesn't give you a lot of good options to monitor your store goods stock, which is why this mod is so crucial. Honestly, I'd argue the game does a kind of an awful job at stock management between having to memorize what stock you're running low on and only able to order 10 items at a time, so mods like Stock Manager just make sense. Now speaking of placing orders, you've probably noticed by now that your deliveries randomly stack and are more than likely scattered across the road after ordering. While funny at first, dealing with it becomes quite the pain after a while. That's why I recommend my number 7 mod to be the Delivery Organizer, which neatly stacks the boxes you order based on size and it won't topple over. The other major thing that it actually does is removes the 10 item limit so you can actually order as many items as you want, which is unnecessarily grindy. I'm not exactly sure why there's a 10 item limit, but making the game more grindy for the sake of being grindy is just never fun, which is why I love this mod. Now one of my absolute favorite but yet so simple of a mod coming in at number 6 is the Auto Light Switch mod. How many times have you been checking out and it gets dark as hell, but you're in the middle of checking someone out and don't want to stop to turn the lights on? That was me, I think, literally every day until I downloaded this mod. Now it does exactly what you think it does when the day hits a certain hour, by default at 6 p.m. But you can actually change that in the game files, but the lights will automatically switch on, which is just one less thing you have to bother with. We're now starting to get into the more god tier mods that I don't know if I could play without having them installed. Coming in at number 5, we got the Restocker Consolidator mod. This one is probably one of those mods that if you're early game with maybe 1 or 2 racks, you may not see the point of, but as you get into having multiple racks, you'll understand why. Basically, if you've got 2 of the same items spread out on different racks, the restockers will actually consolidate the boxes, so you ideally will have more storage and better organization. Now, I can confidently state that storage for me is the most love-hate thing in the game because my storage is just pure chaos and it's so unorganized. Most of the time, whenever I get a new good anyways, I just toss it onto whatever shelf is available, so the fact that the restocker will do my own organizing for me is a lifesaver. Now, sort of in the similar vein as the Restocker Consolidator mod, there's also another mod that'll help beef up your restockers. Now, coming in at number 4, we've got the Night Shift, which allows restockers to keep working overnight so you don't just have to stand there waiting or go AFK while they continue working either before you open up or after you close up the shop for the night. This mod is a no-brainer because it just reduces the grind. Coming in at number 3, this mod fixes one of my biggest pet peeves in the game. If you're like me and you've got a few cashiers at this point and watching a massive line form at one of your cashiers while your other cashiers stand there twiddling their thumbs is pretty infuriating. Well, with this mod Better Checkout Choice, this problem is gone. And like the Scarecrow in the Wizard of Oz, this mod gives the NPCs a brain so they will actually choose a checkout that has the least amount of people, so no more heavily stacked individual lines. Now, anything to lessen the chaos in this game is always welcome. The next mod is another two-parter, with the second part being purely aesthetic, but coming in at number 2 is the Portable Scanner mod, which allows you to literally add stored goods to your cart from the labels on your shelves. I don't think I really even need to explain why not having to memorize and run back and forth from your shelves to your computer to order more products is a good thing, but yes, no more repeating in your head over and over what stock you're running low on. This one is great to pair with the mod I mentioned before, Stock Manager, to help manage your stock. The second part of the mod is the Visible Scanner extension, which when you order more stock, it just pops up a little hand with the hand scanner. It doesn't really add anything except for realism and makes it look like you're actually scanning a product, which is always more fun. Drum roll please for my single most favorite mod of the game, which is none other than the Cashier training program. Now, I flat out refused to download the Faster Cashier mod, which just made your cashiers faster because it seemed to be too game breaking. This mod though adds a whole separate tab on your computer where you can actually monitor your cashiers as they gain XP by checking out items and completing entire checkouts. You can even pay to level them up, which as they hit the next tier of levels become more proficient at their job. Now, I'm sure that some of you will argue with me that this is game breaking because your cashiers in the end are becoming faster, but to me it's just a little more realistic because as somebody gains real life experience doing a job, they will naturally become better at the job, so it just makes sense. This mod even works for your restockers, so as they level up can carry more boxes as well as be more efficient at their job. Anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed the video and maybe went and downloaded some of these mods yourself. If you specifically enjoyed some of these mods, consider giving donations to the mod creators as they make these awesome mods in their free time for no money. I didn't actually cover how to install these mods because the descriptions do a pretty good job showcasing how to do that, but if you cannot figure it out, please drop it in the comments below and I'll try to help answer any questions. Hell, maybe I'll just go ahead and make an install video for those of you struggling to figure it out. If there's any mods that you enjoy playing with, please drop them in the comments below so I can add it to my already growing list of mods. And please feel free to check out my channel as well, as I've already got a whole Supermarket Simulator Let's Play series going with all these fun mods. And I'll see you next time, YouTube. Peace out.